Hi there, let's talk about how you can wake up before your alarm. Does that sound like an impossible feat to you? Because it used to be for me personally. And one of the biggest causes when I had issues with my sleep was adrenal fatigue, because adrenal fatigue can throw your internal clock completely out of rhythm. And since our adrenals, which are little glands that sit on top of our kidneys on our back, make cortisol during times of stress, one solution would be just to remove all sources of stress in our lives. You know, crawl into that bubble and shut the world out and just live there. But that's not very realistic, is it? So I know how unrealistic this is, because one of the biggest times of stress in my own personal life was when my loved ones needed me the most. So there was no time to crawl into a bubble. Many years ago, my dad was in a severe car accident, and if any of you have ever shared a similar experience, you know when something's wrong and someone's been in an accident and they're not calling you to tell you about it, it can't possibly be good. And with that comes an initial and immediate stress response. The shock, the fear, the uncertainty. So, of course, I had that entire emotional response, as anyone would. And then I turned to helping my family run their business during this time. I aided in my dad's recovery process, and I was also managing my own career at the time as well. So there was no time for the stress bubble. It was just you have to keep moving forward. And so without any tools or resources, that's exactly what I did. Now, what ended up happening to me was that I could not wake up in the morning. And in fact, it was very challenging to think straight and do anything productive before 10 a.m. So that was not ideal for my job, because I started work at around 8 a.m. I needed a nap desperately at 2 p.m. at my desk, which also was not feasible. And I would inconveniently get a second wind around 9 p.m., and then I would not be able to fall asleep at night. Now, there are two things I wish I had known back then that I know today. And first of all, you can't simply balance the stress response or your adrenals by treating the adrenals alone. Our body is part of a system. We need to balance the entire system and support the entire system. So in doing so, when we remove internal stress in our body, we're able to handle the external stress much easier. Now, if you haven't seen the video about the CBC with differential, please go back and watch that, search my videos, or leave a comment and I'll tag you in that other video. Because you can look at your own blood labs and identify the sources of your own internal stress and start healing those so that you can deal with the stress around you or that may come up for you in life. Another option would be to have your blood labs interpreted by me, and I can recommend a personalized plan to help you on this journey of lasting and true healing. Now, the other tool I wish I had been taught in elementary school was a way to process through those emotions and the whether they're overwhelming or just our regular day-to-day emotions that come up for us in life, so that it doesn't clog up our nervous system. And there is also the tapping tutorial, which I can tag you in if you'd like. Or I can share it with you. Just drop me a comment below or shoot me a message. And another great place to find endless amounts of resources for how to process through stress and manage stress is by joining the Sacred Healing Project group here on Facebook as well. So you can jump over to that group and find hours upon hours of recorded content for ways to balance mind and body. So please consider doing that as well. So it took me about 2 years to balance back out after Dad's accident because I didn't have the tools that I had today. And in fact, I didn't have the tools for several years after either. So don't let that be you. And by the way, for those of you who are curious, my dad did make a full recovery, thankfully. So I inspire, motivate, challenge you to wake up before your alarm and give your body the things it needs so that it can naturally do that. Thanks so much. I'm Janessa with Fiercely Radiant Soul. And again, hop on over to Sacred Healing Project to get your hands on hours of content that will help you manage stress.